Hello, everyone. My name is Chelsea Kukrow, and I'm excited to share my action research project with you today, titled Exploring the Use of Digital Tools in Teaching Social Skills to Students with Autism. This study emerged from both personal passion and professional experience in special education. As educators, we know that social interaction is a vital life skill, yet, for students with autism, navigating those interactions can often be challenging. These students may struggle with things like initiating conversations, recognizing social cues, or responding appropriately in a peer setting. My study set out to ask, can digital tools help? For topic and problem, the problem I focused on is the traditional methods of teaching social skills, like worksheets or role playing, often fall short in engaging students with autism. These students tend to thrive in an environment that is structured, visual, and predictable. And I recognized and realized that technology could offer exactly that to my students. With that in mind, I created a 6 week intervention using digital tools like virtual simulation, interactive games, and digital social stories to support students in building communication skills. My research question was main one was how will implementing a 30-minute session daily using digital tools like social stories, virtual simulations, and interactive games for 6 weeks improve social skills of fifth graders with autism, with the sub questions of how does virtual simulation impact communication skills? Do digital stories improve recognition of social skills? Are students able to generalize what they learn to real world interactions? And lastly, how do these tools impact students' confidence and independence? These questions help shape both my instructional methods and assessment tools. For my rationale, my motivation came from seeing the gap for students that needed the tools that were often given to them. I worked with many students with autism, and I've seen how overwhelming typical social interactions can be for them. I've also seen how students light up when working with iPads or exploring digital simulation, tools that meet them where they are and what they need to improve on scaffolding their learning in creativity responsive ways. I wanted to explore how we could blend digital access with social emotional instructions. The population of this study took place in a push in inclusion fifth grade classroom in Suffolk County, New York. I worked with 8 students with autism and their ages ranging from 10 to 11 over the course of 6 weeks with daily 30-minute sessions embedded into their academic schedule. My literature review supported this approach with several key findings. There's actually a lot of really strong foundations of research that supports the use of technology to teach social skills, especially for students with autism, and that gave me confidence heading into the study. For an example, Cardone explored the use of digital video modeling, where students got to watch somebody model behavior before trying it themselves. This method has been shown particularly effective for learners who benefit from visual repetition and structure. Next was the Felcher Watson, who focused on iPad based interventions. Her research showed that when social contact is presented in an interactive digital format, students' engagement increased significantly. I took this to heart when designing my daily sessions, making sure that they were not just instructional but also fun and immersive for my students. Bookman took it a step further by studying virtual simulations, which are essentially digital role play scenarios. He found that when students practice in a safe digital environment, they were more likely to transfer those skills into real world interactions, which is exactly what I hope to see with my students. And finally, and emphasize the effective use of visual supports such as PECS, which is Picture Exchange Communication System. While I did not study the use of PECS directly, the idea of using visual concepts supported to increase independence and reduce communication anxiety, which was a big influence on how I structured the use of digital tools in my intervention. All of this research made it clear to me it wasn't just a creative idea. It had evidence based backing, and it aligned with what we know about how students with autism learn best. For methodology, the duration of a 6 week intervention used a combination of digital social stories to model behavior, virtual simulation for practicing in real life scenarios, and interactive games to reinforce learning. To measure these, I use a pre and post assessment, teacher observation logs, and student self reflections, which was using a smiley face Likert scale. I took a mixed method approach to triangulate the data and look at progress from multiple angles. From these studies, the findings and the results were really exciting. Overall, students showed a 20% increase in rubric based social interaction scores. Initiation conversation improved from a baseline of 2.3 to 3.7. Recognizing social cues also increased from 2.1 to 3.4, which was all shown in the graphs on the slide. And perhaps just a meaningful way, students showed greater confidence, independence, and willingness to engage with peers. One surprising success came from using the smiley face reactions Likert scale. What started as a simple tool for self assessment became a gateway for emotional expression. Students began to communicate more openly about their social interactions and experiences. Limitations that I faced during the study were the sample size was a bit small. We experienced occasional technology issue, and there were some differences in how students responded and level of engagement. Also, with 6 weeks, we couldn't measure long enough retention or generalization beyond the classroom. For the conclusion, still the findings suggest that digital tools are a powerful ally in teaching social skills to students with autism. These tools offer structure, visual support, and engagement, all elements that help students process social experience in a meaningful way. Students were more engaged, more confident, and more willing to practice these skills in a real life peer setting. For implication and reflection, this experience has fundamentally changed how I see my role as a teacher and a researcher. I've come to understand that action research isn't just about collecting data. It's about growing with your students, shaping instructions around their real needs, and I also now see technology as not just a supplement, but a tool for empowerment for students. Going forward, I plan to expand this work, involve more staff in digital SEL training, and continue advocating for the integration of tech in special education classrooms. As I reflect on this journey, I am grateful for how it has stretched me as a educator and innovator, but most importantly as an advocate for students who deserve tools that work for them at their needs and levels. Again, thank you so much for listening. I hope this inspired you to consider new ways of supporting all learners through intentional use of digital tools. Thank you so much. Have a great day.